Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Well, my name is Ravi.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. I request you guys to stay on mute, and whoever wants to speak, please unmute yourself and can convey your points or your concerns. So let's begin this session. This is towards the SQL Awareness Session, which is being conducted by COEPD. And I am Ravi Kumar, and I'm gonna facilitate the session today on behalf of COEPD. Okay. So, beginning with the session, let me tell you one thing. SQL basically, we will, as a BA, we will be using on few aspects only, not on the full scale. So we will be discussing only on those points. Okay. And in between, you have any query towards subject? Yes, you're most welcome to raise your hand. And if you have something towards the nothing session and other aspects, request you to kindly hold on and we can discuss on the same thing by end of the session. Okay. So let's begin the topic. So most of us would have heard the name SQL, right? So can one of you tell me what is actually SQL?
SQL is a database where we can store the data.
SQL is a structured query language where we relate or retrieve the data as per our need. It's a language.
Right. So SQL is structured query language, and it's become a standard of American National Standard Institute, that is also called as AKA ANSI in 1986. And we are true that it is a language, but not a database. So most of us consider it as a database. So when we talk about SQL, people will tell it's a database, but that's not the fact. It's actually a language. So why is SQL used, and is it relatable to business analysts? Can any of you tell me? Is it relatable to business analysts, for which domain or the classes we have working or joined here?
SQL is used to view the data. Means business analysts don't have the correct means rights to make a change in SQL, but they have the rights to view the data as per their needs. Something in like a banking domain if they're working business analyst. So just to view the data.
True. So SQL used to communicate with the database, and the statements to use perform QA here are based on the database, how to retrieve data from a database. That is the actual importance of SQL for a BA. So BA mostly won't work on this. However, in certain scenarios, BA, if is working for a banking or finance domain, there we might need to have to use it. Okay. So here BA won't use any sort of coding method or something to create the table or something like that. But yes, we might have to cross check if the structure or the background work is created correctly or not. So in that purpose, BA will be using the SQL. Okay. Are we clear here? So some SQL facts. SQL is facts based on SSMS demo. Most of us know this is an application which is found in your Google page, which you can download and you can practice. But there are certain issues with this. When you download this application, you have to have multiple patches downloading. And at times it becomes really problematic to have the same thing work. For that, we will be assisting you towards a different application, which you can download with no cost, and it will be easy to download, and you can perform the same work how you can do in SQL server or platform. So what is database or DB? Can any one of you tell me?
Database means we'll store where the data will be stored. I mean, a container of data, we will store it so that we can use it whenever we want.
A collection of data stored in a structured manner.
Yes. So organized collection of data generally stored and accessed from a computer or system, mostly in hard disk. Okay. That is where we call it as a database. Sorry.
Sir, your voice is not clear.
Are you able to hear me now?
Yeah. Can you able to go to
Voice
previous?
is breaking actually.
Yes. Thank you. 1 second.
Don't worry, this recording will be there in your YouTube channel. Parallelly, once you log into your student portal in library section, you can access the same video whenever you want.
But same video we are not getting it. That is why.
Excuse me.
Same video we are not getting it. We are getting the standardized video. That is why.
Okay, seriously, we'll discuss on this thing maybe after this class.
Yeah.
So the next is, what is database or DB? As we discussed, basically whatever the data organized in a proper manner will be called as the data, and mostly you will find in hard disk. What is the purpose of database?
To facilitate the data
Okay, anybody else?
retrieval, modification, and deleting of data.
That are the features, I believe. So
Facilitating the storage, deleting the data, or storing the data.
yeah,
Modification.
so it's to organize the data and make it available in convenient form for view or for analyzing purpose. So whenever you try to extract data from any source, may that be an MS Excel, or it could be a command from your CMD. When you pull out the table or whatever you want to see, that is the formation of a database. Yeah, guys, as I told, kindly be on mute. Whoever want to speak, please unmute yourself. Tell your points and then please go on mute. Thank you. Okay, what types of databases are available or known by us?
SQL Server,
Oracle.
What else?
SQL and non-SQL.
Oracle MongoDB.
Oracle, MongoDB, these all are the similar kind of platforms.
I
like
think
a
SQL
database.
and NoSQL.
No, I'm asking what types of databases are available or known.
Relational database.
And
DBMS.
Naukri.com and LinkedIn, where we upload our or we store our data and it gets updated as time to time.
Naukri app or similar kind of website will be using database platform to showcase their.
Organized type of data or unorganized type of data.
We have DBMS and RDBMS. These are the two databases available: database management system and relational database management system. Okay. So some fundamentals we have for SQL. We call them as a CRUD, which is this is a common thing known globally. Okay, and this stands for create, read, update, delete. As a BA, we will have only option to read. Like I said, we will not have the authority to either create, update, delete. Are we clear here?
Could you please show the previous slide type of database? Okay, thank you.
Okay. So this is the fundamentals basically which you follow. CRUD, create, read, update, delete. Where I said and repeating again.
Please show the previous slide.
Guys, there's no need to make a note of it or take snap of it because this video will be available in your YouTube link. So you can refer that any point of time whenever you want to go through it.
Sir, can you just give us the difference between DBMS and RDBMS? Sir?
Yeah, I'll discuss on that.
Yeah.
So the next is the features or the differences between the DBMS and RDBMS. So if you can see left hand side, I have defined DBMS, and the right hand side you have RDBMS. So DBMS application stored data is file every time, whereas in RDBMS application stored data will be in tabular form. Okay. So relational database management system, when you say tabular form, can you give me one example which we are using currently globally?
Sir, your voice is not audible.
Are you all able to hear me?
Hello.
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
Right.
Yes, sir, I can hear you, sir.
Okay. Well, If any of you are having issues with the voice, I would request you to please disconnect and connect back. I will have a pause here for a minute. Can we do that?
Can you please pause it, sir? Can you please pause it? I'm Priya here. I'll just disconnect.
Yeah,
and
don't worry.
relog.
I'm not going to start now. Once you disconnect, all of you which are facing issues, please disconnect and connect back. So I'm not continuing further until you all are there. Please confirm back that once you connected.
In the meantime, can we discuss the previous slide where you said that the role of BA is only to read the data, not nothing else?
Yes. This is the one which call is CRUD, C-R-U-D. Basically,
So,
the functionality.
so what I understand is that he has a BA will collect the data from whatever database is available, and he'll do further, whatever he has to do. But he doesn't have any role to maintain the data or update the data or do anything with that data. Is it like that?
Of course.
Okay.
BA has no right, no authority to do any modification or do any kind of thing in DB or in database. I mean, that be any organization. Only banking and finance. Why we're telling it? Because here client might ask you, could you please recheck on the structure what we are trying to find out, and he might place a request to the database admin stating please confirm, or else he might be given some small amount of time to cross check on the same thing.
Okay.
So he will only view.
Even to get access to data, he's for that also he's dependent on somebody else.
Yes, he has to. Database is something for any organization will not be given access even to the top management.
Okay.
It is very important, very confidential, and something goes wrong over there, it will take again ages to recurrent back or bring in the right format. So we can't play around with that.
Okay.
And one more thing, Ravi, here we are talking only about the production DB or any kind of DB, BA will have only reading access.
What is that production? So repeat again, I couldn't hear you. Was a little low.
No, usually, I'm just saying in my scenario, as a developer, we can view the production database, but we can't edit or we can't create or we can update, delete or insert. We can't do anything. We can just read like that. BA can able to, in every DB, like it might be UIT production or any DB, BA can able to only read, only for production BA can able to read.
Any activity, any aspect it may be, BA will not have access for anything else apart of view.
Okay.
Only view. View and confirm. Okay. So all the people are back who have disconnected.
Yes, sir. Back, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Good to go. Yeah, we are good to go.
Right. So the next is the features of DBMS and RDBMS. So DBMS applications are stored as file, whereas RDBMS stored in a tabular form. So I wanted to find out from any of you one scenario where you can see RDBMS working and we use it quite often. What is that one tool or application?
Customer details, like if you take any banking or any application, customer details we will be giving in a tabular form in the Oracle DB.
Yeah, we create that and update accordingly. Okay. But in RDBMS, it is existing in that format only, in that tabular form itself.
Oh, output itself, it will be existing in the tabular form.
Yeah, the moment you access it, it will be tabular form only.
Even if we store in a file, it will be giving us only tabular form. Is that
yes.
True?
Very simple example is there. I believe we should be able to recall it.
Excel.
Yes. MS Excel. It is always in tabular form, right?
But how come it is a database?
Excel does not have any data in that, but when you store in it, we are maintaining data over there. You extract any data, you extract in MS Excel. This is one of the best examples which is working globally anywhere you go.
Actually, Japanese people use Excel as a database. That's the information my husband gave me.
Japanese, I'm not sure, but we also use Excel here for data storage. Every data what you store, most of the organization, most of the company will be in MS Excel. right? Though it is considered one of the weakest application which can crash or stop working anytime, but we still rely on it. We still use it rather. Okay. So in DBMS, data is generally stored in either a hierarchical form or in navigational form. DBMS uses file system to store data, so there will be no relation between the tables. DBMS is meant to be for small organization and deal with small data. It supports single user at a time. Examples of DBMS as file is like XML. How many of you are aware? Sorry?
MS Access is also an example.
Yes, MS Access, and parallelly, not parallelly, one of the application which is equivalently like MS Excel, which is called OpenOffice. How many of you have heard of it?
OpenOffice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have heard it.
You have heard it. Now, OpenOffice is somewhat into DBMS. Somewhat aspect is in DBMS because unlike your MS Excel, it does not have the full functionality on it. When I say functionality, not about the cells and rows and all, many features when you try to work, you cannot perform because it goes differently. How you can use MS Excel for pivot table or graph and all, when you're trying to work same thing in OpenOffice, you will have a tough time to call that. That's basically good for storing data.
Libra?
Which one?
Libra, MS Libra, like even in that also we can store it in the Excel format only, no?
You can store in MS format, the same format, but these all applications have some limitation or restrictions.
In LibreOffice also.
Yes. Whereas your MS Excel is not like that. It's open source. It can connect with any platform. That is why it's called as RDBMS. It can go into anything. Now, when you try to work on OpenOffice or Libra, can you update the same thing in Power BI or Tableau? Give it a try. It won't work.
No.
Never work. But MS Excel, it will support. That's why MS Excel is globally used in that aspect compared to your OpenOffice or Libra. Okay. So in RDBMS, the tables have an identifier called primary key, and the data values are stored in the data form of tables. Okay. Now we'll discuss about what is primary key. It will be very easy to relate also. Data values.
You are saying examples like in normally, right? Example for DBMS is MS Access, and the example for RDMS is Excel. This is like normally.
I'm giving the normal example. Yes. Okay. Why? Because we are not digging much into it. BA has nothing to do with the coding and all those stuff. So no need to discuss on that already. Okay. What is relatable, we will discuss on that. Okay.
Okay.
In RDBMS, data values stored in the form of table. So a relationship between these data values will be stored in the form of table as well. RDBMS is designed to handle large amount of data. It supports multiple users. Few examples of RDBMS are MySQL, Postgre, SQL Server, Oracle, etc. Okay. So this is defining towards the RDBMS and DBMS. Next, what can SQL do? SQL can execute queries against the database, can retrieve data from a database, can insert records in a database, can update records in database. Sorry?
Delete. No,
yeah, it can delete the records. It can create new tables. It can create stored procedures in database. Can create views in database. Can set permission on data tables, procedures, and views. Okay, these are the things which SQL can execute. But no need to worry for us. We don't have to do any such thing because most of the data or commands, whatever provided here, we can only view. You cannot execute, you cannot retrieve, you cannot insert, you cannot update, you cannot delete, you cannot create rather. Okay. So tables in SQL are called as following terms. The row is called as a record, column is called as field, and unique key identifies a table or row. How it looks? So if I'm giving an example here, if you can see, I'm having 4 values here, and this is the row and column. My name or city or state, pin code, ID becomes the field, and the entire things from the ID to the 4 becomes the rows. So are we aware with this kind of format?
Yes.
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 Right. So like I said, the rows will be termed as record and the column will be termed as field. Now, if you remember the first slide which you're talking about the primary key, We will look into it, how it is defining, so it will be easy for you to relate also. I'm taking example of SQL Retail Store. All of you are able to see the 3 different tables, header with sales, item, and customer.
Yes.
Yes.
And all of you are able to see a golden key placed next to or previous to sale ID or item ID and ID.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to take you back to your real work where you would have worked in MS Excel. Okay. So how many of you are familiar or use the command like VLOOKUP or XLOOKUP?
Yes, we have.
Yes, sir.
Yes, we have.
So when you're using VLOOKUP, what is the reference?
Column.
Column, fine. Which column is that?
It could be any
Yes.
column
Yeah.
wherein
Which
the
is common.
common column.
Correct. So let's say if you are having a rough data or raw data with you, having 4 columns with A, B, C, D, or A, B, C, D only. And in A, you have all the serial numbers, and B, C, D is the data. So when I'm trying to extract data in the next sheet or in the same sheet in any cell, I will give a syntax called as reference. That reference could be anything from where I want the table to work or the formula to command. That reference over here in SQL, we term it as a PK, that is primary key. The sale ID, item ID, and ID is your reference cell. Okay, why? We'll know now. This sales data, what you're seeing here, is what will be my main screen. Or if you remember, when you go to any of the store or any kind of mall and you purchase some kind of item, this is, I am not sure how many of you would have ever got a chance to see the screen, but when you get the receipt, your data is in a pattern, right? You will have the serial number and then item name, item quantity, unit price and all, right? That all is in tabular form only because of the database. That is how it has been configured over there. But within the data and whatever stuff or the item store is maintaining, that will not reflect in that one. It will be hidden. Those things will be called as foreign key. Now, can you see in the green section, item ID and customer ID? This is called as a foreign key. Now, these two are derived out of my item database or a cell or to the customer. How it happens? Let's say you have an item ID of number 1. So item ID number 1 is this one, the first one. If you see my cursor moving, and it says the other one in sales is customer ID, that is 2. Customer ID, customer table is here. 2 is here, Sean Smith from Tampa. Okay. He has purchased something and the quantity goes 3. Now this is something you can edit. I mean in the store. Could be 1, 2, 3 or many more or less even. And the price reflecting here is for 90,000. Now what is this item? This item is camera. Description as 64 megapixel. So each item or each camera cost worth is 30,000. Am I right?
Yes.
So since it is 3 quantity, it has gone to 90,000. Now how it is happening? We will have a scanner. I mean, in the retail shop, they will scan the barcode. And this barcode is aligned to this item, customer, and so many tables are there. The reason being, why we maintain this aspect is if you continue doing this item activity in one particular tablet form, anywhere, anything goes wrong, or you have any modification or deletion happening, this will hamper my structure here. It might not give me the right calculation. When you're using MS Excel, you have a data with you, assuming that you have a data from column A1 to A30 all the way till C. You have to remove one of the data from there, or rather from one cell, you have to remove the data only. What you will do there? Is my question clear to all of you? Are you able to relate it?
Sir, can you please repeat it, sir? Can you please repeat,
What I'm trying to convey here is, assume that you're working in MS Excel form, and you have a data, some data in the sheet 1 from column A to column D, and that A data is all the way till 10. That is a cell number. Some data is between AD to A1 to D10. You have to remove some data from one of the cell. What you will do?
We'll go to that cell and delete the data.
Right. So once you delete the data, what happens there to the cell?
It become empty.
Becomes blank or empty. One aspect.
Null.
Now there is no data at all. Imagine there are numbers only in the few of the cell. Parallelly, there is other option also. We can do that same thing is control minus. Any one of you use that trick? Control minus.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay. So once we do control minus, what happens? It will show an error. Do you want to shift the cells up?
It will
left,
delete
down?
the row or column.
Yes. Now what happens by these two virtue? When you're trying to calculate, your calculation will go wrong. Or it will
Yes,
show
yes.
reference or NM. Right. Now we cannot take that hit in SQL or in a data on a retail store section of the reports.
Ravi,
We
can you
given-
please explain the same thing in SQL because I don't have that much knowledge on Excel.
Sorry.
Can you please explain the same example in SQL because I don't have that much knowledge in Excel.
So that will not be able to show here. It is not possible. I'm trying to give you an example. Maybe I can try to give you an Excel here. So give me a second. Let me access my Excel.
I don't see your screen.
Yeah, I'm sharing 1 minute. Are you all able to see my Excel?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
So let's say I'm having this data with me. Okay. This is just for example. I have something here and I want to do some kind of modification here. Since it's an Excel, it will be easy for you to do. You can delete it. But this cell becomes empty for me. For better understanding, I'll take out one value from here. Yeah, it gives me 8. Now, since it is an Excel, I've given a command of sum, it is tracking. But if I maintain it same back and try to delete one of them, if I press control minus, can you see this alert here?
Yes.
Shift the cells left, up, row, down, whatever is there. I will delete one of them. So what happened? Any one of you have noticed what happened?
Yeah, the value has
The right hand value of data shifted to my number section.
yes.
Okay. Now this some kind of data we can relate and rework or clean in my MS Excel. But if the same thing is being performed in SQL, it will damage the entire structure and I'll get the incorrect value or no value at all. Where it has to be named, it will place the price item or something like that. Okay. For that reason, to avoid this kind of problem, what is done is in MSX in database, for every sales figure, sales ID, quantity, price, or item ID, customer ID, we have to maintain separate tables.
Ravi, in Excel, you use control minus, right?
Yes.
Sir, like one small doubt, like separate Excels we are using. So when in SQL, when we want to get any data, we have to see that in a separate Excel and then create a fresh Excel of the entire data, something.
Okay. So ideally, what happens if you can relate? I'm trying to relate you with this example only. This is the sales my complete data file where everything will reflect. Fine. Now, in order to reach this milestone, what we will do to maintain this data as correct way or without any issues, we will create multiple different tables like item and customer. Whatever corrections we do here, deletions or whatever, is limited to this cell only. Okay, but when I say limited, any issues, whatever comes, it will be stopped here in this sister columns or system cells, but it will not impact my master data. Are you able to relate what I'm trying to communicate here?
Yes, sir. But as a BA, we can't do any editing from the SQL, right? Only we can retrieve the data from the SQL.
Yes, I'm not trying to ask you to do also. I'm trying to inform you that if something goes wrong over here, we will have to do nothing. It is not our responsibility either. Same way, when database team is working on that one, we have to understand how it is happening. So tomorrow, when you are working for any banking or finance organization and you're trying to restore or recall the structure, you might find multiple columns over there or cells. So you have to understand that each of the cell are separately created in the background. Okay. And for all these things, we have one primary key, that is the reference of sale ID, item ID, or ID itself. This is the scanning happens when you scan to any retail shop. The barcode what you're scanning will have a serial number for each of the item, and it will extract the data from each of the store or the database. Okay. Are you able to understand, all of you?
Sir, can you once again explain the significance of this key related to sale ID, item ID, and this customer ID?
I'll tell you. See, sales is one of the column here, sell, item, and customer. Now, item and customer are different maintained cells, but these two will work like a foreign key for me in my sales table. Item ID, customer ID are figured out of this table only. Whereas when you scan item, it will take the item ID first, the scanner. So item ID number 1. What is there maintained in the item cell is camera. So this is the item for me. What is the customer ID? Customer ID having customer section name over here was Sean Smith. So this person have purchased a camera in a 3 quantity. This quantity will be done manually. Okay, but these two will be extracted out of these two tables. Here, we have to understand one thing.
So that is,
We have to understand one thing over here, that between this item and customer, you can find these names repeated. A person can purchase camera and the other person also can purchase camera. And you never know, by end of the day, there are 5 more people who can come and buy camera, right?
Yeah.
Can it happen? Parallelly, in terms of name, I have taken here for US, but if I take from India, you will have very common name like in South Venkat and North Rahul or Ravi or Shilpa and all. So if there are so many customers coming up with a similar name or matching name, how system will understand that? System has nothing to do with that, but it will capture all the name. By end, when you're trying to extract data, it will be a totally corrupted data. To counter that or to deal with that thing, we use primary key. Because your name might be repeated, but CL number will not repeat, right? It will continue, go on 1, 2, 3, and on and on and on. Are you able to understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. So tables are rated by keys, and table keys are used to create relationship with the tables. It must be unique and cannot have null values. You cannot have a null value here. 0, blank. It cannot work. You have to have some data. Okay. Foreign keys are used to connect 2 tables together. This foreign key is here, right? Green color. This is connecting my item and customer table accordingly here, which will be used with a join statement. Okay.
Sir, now one small doubt, sir. Sorry to interrupt you. See, like you said, many customers with the same name can come and buy a camera, right? For example, that product. So now when we are trying to match the custody under the sales at custody 2, okay, how does the system connect the item number and the ID, sir, here? Because in the customer, if you see the customer Excel, here ID is written as 1, 2, 3, and 4. Correct. Is this a serial number or is this the customer ID?
This is a serial number. When you're trying to work on the same towards your banking aspect, customer ID will not be repeated to anybody else, right? It will be unique for the customer.
That is true.
Right? It cannot be repeated. Parallelly, your customer ID in some aspect, even if it's like 1, 2, 3, 4 is the customer ID, other person, if it is there in this other location somewhere, sorry, it can be even given like 1, 2, 3, 4 A, but not 1, 2, 3, 4. There has to be some difference in that. Now I can maintain my customer ID here, but again there is a possibility that system might get corrupted or system might, I mean, anything can happen in technological aspects. So we cannot take the risk of it. We maintain for every transaction, every database, we will maintain a header or a primary key that is 1, 2, 3, 4. That is called serial number.
Okay.
Okay. So in Excel, you have multiple options where you can combine these two and you can create database. You can concatenate also, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And you can pull that information. It's other thing by using of other conditions, you can separate them and you can give the data. In SQL database, we will not make it that complex. We will keep it very simple. Most of us would have heard of name like what do you call database schema. This is a kind of it. We will see that also.
Okay.
Yeah, somebody has raised hand.
Yeah. So here, as in this example, as per my understanding, so like customer 2, that is Sean Smith, has bought memory card and camera, camera quantity 3 and memory card quantity 1, right? Like
Yes.
2 rows.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yes.
And Will Smith has bought 1 quantity of camera. So
Correct.
am I right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's how we need to relate all the tables.
True. See, what happens here when we create the table, basically it's not we who will do. So, but say I'm trying to give an overview. When we create a table, depending on the domain, may that be retail or banking or whatever, we have, client will tell me or rather tell us that what are their requirements in tabular form, what and all they want and how the functionality should happen. Now I can't use retail section functionality in banking. Banking is different attribute altogether. You might use it for maintain database, or in that aspect I can recall or can give example like your bank statement. Are we aware with the bank statement what you're getting?
Yeah, we get the bank address, we get the customer ID, we get the account number.
That is the format. But between that, you have a details of your statement section, beginning from so date to so date.
So date, yes.
Yeah, and that is also a form of database. That is also there available in your finance system. I mean, when you run the query in the SQL, you can see exactly the same replica or the original sheet, which you're getting in a printout.
But the only thing is the format might differ in this.
Yes. What we give your primary key as 1, 2, 3, 4 ID over there, that will not reflect there because that will be hidden.
Data remains the same, but the only thing is the format. Yeah.
Yes. So that is how it happens for banking and retail you are having in front of. Okay. Yeah, Chetan, any question for you from your side? Okay.
Sir, one doubt I have.
Yeah.
Only the banking and you are telling only the banking and the retail store. If any organization can use a database like this, or only the banking people when able to look the use the SQL and all those things.
Our database has no desired structure. Database can come in any angle, whatever your company requires.
Okay, mostly but you are giving an example that banking like will come like this, and the retail store you are showing here.
Yes, I'm just giving a logic. This is how it will look. Okay. So creativity can happen in any angle or triangle, whatever it may be. But for us, it is only understanding is when you extract the data. If you're working for a banking or finance organization as such, then you should be able to relate how the customer is told, whether it is reflecting as it is or is it different.
Oh. Okay. Okay.
So next we will see on the SQL command, which is commonly known. It is just for your information purpose, but we have few options only to work around this. The first one is called data definition language or DDL. So DDL will have a feature like create, alter, drop, rename, truncate, and comment. There are many more, but I've taken few which mostly companies or banking or in retail some aspect they will use it. Okay. So create, we understand we create a new table. Okay. So create procedure command is used to create a stored procedure. A stored procedure is a prepared SQL code that you can save. So the code can be reused over and over again. Create a command, a create table, and keep it in safe. And whenever you work on it, you give a functionality key, and whenever you work, use that key, it will appear back. The alter table statement is used to add, delete, modify columns in an existing table. The alter table statement is also used to add and drop various constraints on an existing table. Other one is drop. The drop table statement is used to drop an existing table in database. Rename. It's used to change the name of the existing database, like table column, to a new name. Renaming a table does not make it lose any data which is contained with. Truncate removes all row from a table, but the table structure and its column, constraint, indexes, and so on remain as it is. The last is comment, to explain sections of SQL statement or to prevent execution of SQL statements. Now what happens, like, let me ask this question: how many of you are well versed or having some understanding on macros, as Excel macros?
No, sir, we don't have an answer. I don't have an
Yes, use them.
You use them. So there are two ways to use macros. One, you can give the command. You can write the command just like C. And the other one is called recording. Okay. So once you record working in Excel, background, it will continue or rather jot it down in the command format only. You can cross check on that one. But there are multiple options which recording gives, but there is a restriction. Command will not showcase you the each cell how it is functioning, and it is limited to that recording only. Whereas when you give a command and write the Excel format, whatever you perform within that, may that be a naming or bracket or a survey, whatever, it will behave in the same aspect anywhere. You run it on any system, any Excel, it will run. That is the difference. When you try here in DDL, you truncate, it won't work in different aspects. Okay. Comment, definitely, comment comes in a way like whatever you're performing, the command what you're giving, you can give it in a general statement that I am trying to create a table. I am trying to create a database. I am trying to add, delete, whatever. This is again for information purpose. We will not do it. The next is data
macros
query.
will run already on the data. Macros can be run whenever we are having a data.
Yes, you have to command that thing and it will run anytime. You have to just give a shot.
Yeah, from that data we can like retrieve anything, whatever we want to.
Yes.
But within a seconds, that is the main difference for macros.
And it is predefined because you are giving them a range.
Yeah.
If there's no range, you will not understand.
Usually we will use macros for for defined purpose, right? Like by running a job, if something is happened, how would the macros will come under storing the data?
No, I'm not trying to connect the macros to data over in a database. I'm trying to tell that what is the comment in few sections, a few options, which is also used mostly in Excel. Now, basically what happens when you're working in Excel, when we give a recording or when you try to create a macros, we understand what we are doing. If we have done it anywhere, I'm not sure how many of you have done it. To
Actually,
make it,
whenever you're saying with Excel, right? I'm not able to relate it because I don't have any knowledge in Excel. I just copy paste the things, except that I never use anything in the Excel.
not needed. Everybody will not use Excel for command and working on. Like you said, very true that most of people will copy and paste there. That's it. And you get the output whatever it is. Or you just paste there and save it in your desktop. That is why it's called RDBMS. Isn't it? Why? Now, you don't have the idea on how it is happening. That would be a tough call for me to also now tell on that. But basically, when you're trying to work on RDBMS or Excel, if you have good knowledge on that one, you will be able to relate on how SQL also is performing. Most of the time, SQL will not showcase you all the aspect. You have to keep giving the command to extract data. Whereas in Excel, you can just access it and you can manipulate many data, which cannot be done in SQL. You cannot manipulate it. And if you do, it will be refracting.
So Ravi, you are saying like macros will be kind of similar to DDL activities, right? Like create.
I'm not telling macros, I'm telling Excel.
Yeah, okay. Now you gave macros example for DDL only, right?
I gave example of macro to give an understanding of comment, to explain section of SQL statement or to prevent execution of SQL statement. Many a times when you're running on SQL, it happened many times for the BAs also. I've seen in past few companies where they are trying to work on that one. Though they don't have the access, it will easily trigger an alert that so-and-so person is trying to access. There are few people or instance where out of that trust, they have been given access to view or to do whatever, and to view basically, but they have accidentally, they have deleted the entire structure. Okay, so a comment is used over there every time that to recall back or to have a backup and all, how it is done or where it is stored. We use the
Sir,
command.
can you just give us an example of truncate in Excel sheet?
Ravi, and can you please show how the comment would be in SQL?
Comment in SQL, I have no idea. Because as I told you, we have very limited access and it is not possible to recall or give. Because as long as my tenure comes, I have used SQL once only, and that too I got a permission of hardly 5 minutes to call upon the structure, and then access was revoked.
Oh.
You will get to know what kind of access you will have here. Okay, and trying to showcase towards the truncate, rename and all, I'm extremely sorry because this is not something I've never done, but I'm able to train you here. And one more thing, it is not important for us. I'm just giving you understanding because most of these words we will hear. You will hear in the companies.
Oh.
That is truncate this one and all, but we have nothing to do with that.
No worries, thanks. Okay.
So next is data query language, that is for DQL. The commands over here is for select only one, which I'm using, or which will here is used to select data from database. The data returned is stored to the result table called the result set. As a BA, we use this feature to search any desired data if required or asked. So you select, they will tell you a name that you have to find out some regional or some area data flow or diagram. So you select, give that name, put a semicolon and hit enter. That regional name, it will pull out the information. The next is DML, that is for data manipulation language. We have features like insert, update, delete, merge, call, explain, plan, and log table. Insert, you understand, if you want to modify, include something else like add one or more record to a single table in a relational database. Update is used to modify the existing records in a table. Delete, again, we will not use, is used to delete existing record in a table. Merge, we are very much aware with the merge word, I believe, is used to make changes in one table based on values matched from another. It can be used to combine insert, update, and delete operation into one statement. Then call also, aka that's also known as explain, plan statement, are supported in PL SQL only.
Sir, excuse me.
Yeah.
Sir, like before explaining this word by word, can you just show us how an SQL actually looks? Because in Excel, we have like columns and rows we are able to see, right? Before we understand this, in case if we have a look at SQL, I think this
Don't
goes
worry.
apt into
Don't worry. What I'm gonna do is, when after this thing is done, I'm gonna share you a free download link of SQL, which you can download with no effort to your system. Okay. We will also work. We will show you how the interface will look like, and maybe I'll try to fit some of the commands over there. We will have an idea on how it is looking and all. And most of the questions are asking like DB schema or ER diagram, so we can see on that also. Okay. How it will look. So have some just wait for a few minutes, and you'll be able to see it. Okay. So explain plan is to determine the execution plan Oracle database follows to execute a specified SQL statement. This statement inserts a row describing each step of the execution plan into a specified table, and then log table to prevent deadlocks and concurrent data changes and modification to maintain consistency and atomicity of the transaction on database tables. Log table we use to block that particular table altogether. Means protection. What we use in Excel. Nobody can edit anything. You have no right to do anything. This is what it talks about DML. And the last is data control language. Here we have only two functionalities, grant and revoke. This is what will be given to BA basically. To prevent deadlocks and concurrent data changes, the modification to maintain consistency and atomicity of the transaction on database table is called grant. Revoke, to remove the privilege on the user account for access of database object. It revokes permission granted to a user on a database object, and also revokes the access right assigned to users. Here the revoke command removes every privilege initially granted to the user. So if you are a BA for any of the banking organization or something, and depending upon your client requirement, which definitely has to be confirmed, you might be given access of grant, but you are now granted to have a 5 minutes on check on DB. Okay, to pull up the table and view on it. After 5 or 10 minutes, it will be automatically revoked. This is where in DCL we come into picture. Are we clear in this command section?
Sir, could you
Please
please?
show the previous slide
Yes.
before this. Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Sir, could you please click on? Could you please go back?
Yeah.
And could you please click on detail again? Thank you, sir. It's done.
Okay. So the next is, this is the screen I'm talking about. This is called SQL Workbench. Okay. Now, unlike your SSMS and other object applications which you will find in Google to download, they are much more tedious because you have to try to download multiple servers and so many file extensions. Whereas this one is very user friendly. Okay. So this is the first screen how it will look like. And if you can see where my cursor is hovering, SQL connections, you can create multiple connections and you can create a interface where you can work on it. Next is, the next screen is, okay, this is the link which I'm talking about. This is called My SQL Download SQL Workbench. Can you see in the yellow, amber color? Guys, are you able to see it?
Yes, sir.
So
How can we access this link, sir?
Yes, sir. You can just type in your Google. Yes. Just type download My SQL Workbench.
Can you please post it on chat box?
No, chat box is disabled. It is not active.
Okay.
Chat box is never active here. Chat box is automatically disabled here. So you will not be able to do it. Maybe you can make a note of it in your paper, or you can, if you have a laptop with you, you can click on browser and you can give it a try.
MySQL Workbench, right?
Yes, MySQL Workbench.
Workbench download.
Yes, free. So the next screen will look like this. So you can see I've created already a section of COEPD here, and I'm trying to work on it. The center section which you see here is the area where you can give the commands. Left hand side, you will have a schemas working. Whatever you create will reflect here, will work here. Okay. And bottom towards the administration and schemas, whatever table you create, whatever table you want to view, it will give you the constants here or towards its attributes. So when you see, I have given a command like create database test DB. Down, if you can see in the action input, it says create database completed successfully. Okay. Can you see this?
Sir, can you please go to the previous slide, sir?
Can't we use MySQL DB?
Where?
Oh, you said right. Usually we will use SQL DB, right? Why we are using Workbench here?
See, there are multiple applications for SQL. When you try to download it through Google in a free version and all, you have multiple extensions to download. Too many things to be downloaded. Okay. And sometimes we are not aware which is the right thing to connect even, extensions and all. To avoid all those things, I was able to find this one, which will finish my work in hardly a minute or two, and it will give me the accessibility where I can practice. My practice is not much. It is only to view. So this is sufficient for us, unless we have to do something different.
Ravi, so actually, I worked in a few little enhancement of SQL. So if I have that knowledge, that would be fine, right? You are going to say anything?
No, I'm not going to talk anything much apart of the things which we work on. View means view, nothing more.
Okay, because like I couldn't.
So this SQL will be regularly used by BA.
BA only if you are into domain like banking or finance. Otherwise, nobody's going to ask. because I don't have any person. I mean, I have never learned much on this one. Only once in a out of blue moon that happened long year back, where my friend told me to pull one table and I did. Otherwise, I never used it.
Okay, okay.
So the link that you have shared, this we can just download and use it for however months we want, or
yes.
Is it like 1 month, 2 months?
No, I don't see any
doesn't
limitation.
require any separate installation, right?
Nothing. It will ask you a few of the links where it will create a proxy settings so that you work according to it. It gives you the real time feel. That's it.
Okay.
Okay. So next I told this is the screen how it will look like, where you can see the query one screen over here, create database, test database, and the same thing, whatever you create here.
Whatever. वो टोरेंट जैसा दिख रहा है.
Guys, please be on mute if somebody is on unmute because the voice is echoing here. So create a database. I've given a command and I can see that it has been successfully created down here. Okay. So I have not given any specific name as such. I've just given test database and I can see if it is incorrect here, it will show a red mark here. That means the command which is given by us is incorrect. Parallelly, so once you give the command here, you test this command, I can run basis of execute current statement or all sections. Since I'm having one command only, I'm giving only one, that is current statement. Okay.
Ravi, here you created a create database, right? Is it a schema or a table or a connection?
I'm just creating a database, not schema. Means
I
I'm giving a folder name.
Okay.
The next is when you click on execute current statement, it will showcase something like this. The database department DB I have created here. A given department DB and it is considered. So this is how it will run. The next is if I give a command like create table test, something is wrong here. So can you see down? It's with the red cross mark saying unable to create, no database selected on this. So it is the incorrect command for me. Now this is the section which you will find in every, workbench here. Since I have created a SQL demo for COEPD here, it is now giving me an option where I can view this functionality, tables, view, store, function, database, department, which I have created now. Okay, and parallelly, it will give me a schema name here, COEPD SQL demo 1622. This is the area where we pull that reports. Okay, this is something which we'll see here also. I'm just giving you information, but unlike the main application, what we have in company and few of the trial versions, we all are aware that you will not have the full functionality usage over there. There will be some restrictions. If you are aware with it, yes, there are restrictions here also. You will not be able to pull few of the tables or the data schema. This is the report we call a data import, where you can extract the or recall or pull all the reports what you are working towards. Okay, so I've used a section or a command like a dump here. So when you try to work, it shows start importing. It means it's working, but this never happened because of the restrictions are there. So SQL database schema, so it looks something like this. Are you able to understand it? What it is, how it is happening?
No.
How many of you?
No, sir.
This is the output of the data.
Database schema.
Sir,
No, sir.
yeah, database
What is schema is?
Sorry, one person at a time, please.
No, sir. What I'm asking is this the output of the data or the schema will be look like this only?
This is how schema will look like.
Okay.
So if you see in the center, it's a job history. So it's something which I've taken towards the record of job, whatever. You can see here, it says employee ID, company ID, position ID, and all those things, and these all are in integer values. When you give command, create data table and create the values with the integer or syntax, what is there, string, something like when you give a command in your Excel. Then you have start date, finish date, description, and all those things, and then the constants. Job history, company, employee, same thing will come here with the name as primary key and foreign key. Can you see PK and FK?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Now this PK and FK is something what? What is foreign key? Can you tell me now? What do you mean by foreign key?
Foreign key is like a unique key to retrieve the data from a table.
Yes. Now if I take it from the left hand side, from the DBO, employee, company, position, project skill and skills. These are my separate cells. Combining to all, this is my master file here. Data what I'm extracting within this bracket 2 here will be my foreign key. If you remember the customer and the item section in the first retails which I have showed you. Are you able to recall?
Yeah, we are able to recall.
So
what you mean to say is the 3 Excels are shown in one database DB.
What in Excel I have shown you in the second slide or third slide was an image for you to understand. Here I'm trying to give you a real value of DB schema, how it happens. Whatever corrections I make here, whatever inclusions or deletion I do here, it will parallelly impact here. It will reflect here. I cannot do here because if something happens here, I cannot be able to recall entire thing. To avoid that mistakes and all, we work on this. You recall the name as create table project and then work on it. Or create table project skill, you work on it, add, modify, whatever, and it will parallelly impact. Alicia, you understand now?
Yes, Ravi.
Then now in the previous slide, you just gave a value. So can you just go back to the previous slide once, please?
Which one?
Here, whatever the value you give it here, the entire thing is shown in the DB schema.
See, what I have done here is I have created a database, a kind of folder. Okay. And then you'll give a command that whatever all you want in that database. Serial number, last name, first name, so and so and so and so and so. Okay. And then you give the inputs in that. So when you're working on that particular section, it will reflect in this small, it will break down in this small sections.
Oh, okay.
What you view in the overall is this.
Okay.
Here's name is given job history. It can be called as retail. It can be called as a statement format or whatever you want to do. It will reflect in this aspect. And the small sections are the one link where we will update or modify or delete.
Okay. So even in this DB schema also the data can be seen in the macro level.
Yes, that is what is called schema. You're breaking everything in small sections.
Okay.
Sir, one doubt I have. So as a BA, we can retrieve the data, right? So we can't give any comments. You are retrieving the data in like this format, right? So we are not typing any command or something like that.
No,
we have to.
BA will not do anything. You will only view. We will not make. We don't have any right to make corrections, deletions, or modifications.
Oh, as for our understanding, you are telling this is the command work like this.
This
right?
is how schema will look like. Database or schema, what we call. This is how the picture looks like.
Okay.
Give me a minute, guys.
Okay.
1 minute. Yeah, sorry for keeping hold. So are we understanding now what is the database or schema, how it will look like, and what is the behavior?
Yeah, Ravi, if we can able to practice on SQL, MS SQL, Oracle DB, then no need of this workbench, right? I don't know. I couldn't able to download this workbench.
No, if you have the Oracle with you, you can try the same thing. It is same work, names are different, or skin might differ, but mostly the same work.
Oh, but usually we will use Oracle DB only, right?
Yes. Now for Oracle DB, if you have to install, that requires lot of extension and lot of features on that one, which everybody cannot have.
Right.
Now, what is the supplement towards this? Workbench is the one of the free application which I have found very friendly, going to do much of thing, and you can work according to it. When you're trying to learn, that is Workbench is better.
Oh,
What is that application?
Sorry.
What is that application? You just said?
Oracle DB.
I have this showed SQL Workbench.
Acha.
Okay, so I will show you the application also how it will look like. So after this schema, we will move into the next section, which is for important commands which are there in SQL. Select from table name means when you're trying to view.
Ravi, can you please go to previous screen once, please? Thanks.
So the first command which comes, yeah.
Usually DB schema is used majorly in which kind of organization? So because banking domain doesn't usually have this DB schema.
Yes, we will have. Banking domain we will have. He saying banking domain, IT sector banking domain.
Schema is not for, when I say banking and all, it is not the bank what we do. In IT section, when we are working for any of the organization, basically for retail or your banking sectors, schema will be there. If schema is not there, your account section or your multiple application what you're working back in your system will not support. Means if something goes wrong, entire system across India or pan India application will shut down. That cannot happen. To avoid that, to counter that issue, something goes wrong, that particular system or the area will be impacted. Rest all will work according to it.
Okay.
So the important commands to them are select from table name. So you can give the command like select customer name from CP customers, whatever, and it can extract the data. Delete, if you have discussed, delete from customers where customer name like something alphabets. Delete database name. You can create database and test database. Drop database name. You can give some test DB. Truncate number decimals like select truncate 345.156, 0. Insert string position string number string 2, and that will be like with the insert COEPD measure va.com 19. It's an example. Grant command in SQL where you have little big over here, grant privilege name and object name to user public role name with grant option. Revoke command in SQL with revoke privilege name on object name from username public role name. Second last one is something which we might see. We might not even see that because this is the command which will be given by your database team. And if you are having the one of the set application in your system, maybe then you can run the command. Otherwise, no. There are few examples which I'm taking here, which are commonly heard or might be discussed between your team, being as a PE. Okay. So next is the end. If you have any questions, please let me know. Parallelly, I will show you how this application will look like, the tool will look like. Give me a minute.
Sir, and one more thing, sir, the recording, whatever the class sessions are there, that is not exactly the same in the library section as one of the colleagues was saying.
Don't worry.
That can.
Team is working behind it, and those recordings, whatever is there, will be uploaded. In between, if there is something disturbance kind of thing where the discussion is going out of the subject, that will not be uploaded.
Hi Ravi, I just have a small doubt regarding the resume and interview type. See, the thing is,
1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute.
yeah.
Snehal, can we, is it Snehal or Veera?
Veera.
Veera. Veera, can we talk this thing after this session is over? We will have the time for this thing. Okay.
Sure.
Now let us continue towards the content.
Yeah.
So this is how the workbench will look like. Are you able to see my screen? All of you?
Yes.
So this is how it will look like. If you can see, there are connections. This connection will be by default. And I've created one more section of COEPD SQL session. Now, while doing this one, it will ask you to give a root password every time when you create. If you have to see, I can click on this plus symbol. It will give you one more option to create new section. I will give here as demo, and I have to check on the test connection. It will ask me to give the password. I can give whatever password, like I have given a password, so I will insert that and click on OK. It says successfully made the SQL connection, and I'm good to go. Click on this and click on OK. So can you see the SQL is now one more section is created here. Click on this part.
Sir, sorry, due to network error, I couldn't see that. So could you please repeat the process again?
This is the workbench screen, the interface, how it will look like once you download. Okay. So on top, you have multiple options like file, where you can model, create new query and all with edit, view, database. What is database here? Connect database and all, tools, configuration of backup connection, restore connections, scripting, and help. This is how it will look like. In this section, by default, you have this local instance MySQL 8.0 or 80 created. This is the by default, always there. If you want to create your own space or your own query box, click on this plus. The moment you click on this plus, a box will pop up like a setup new connection, give a name, apply the test connection setting. It will ask you to give the password what you have entered during the installation of the application. Click on OK. So once you click on OK, application will look like this, that it has been created. Okay. You can create as many you want to create. Click on this demo twice, and it will open a screen like this.
Excuse me, sir.
Okay.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, we were following your command, and I was doing in my laptop. But
Okay.
The default, what you have told, the default folder, I cannot see that.
Default folder.
Can you just go into the local instance MySQL 80? I cannot see that in my page.
You cannot see that? That cannot
Yes.
happen. It should be there.
We don't have that in my screen. MySQL connections
You
under
can
that.
see the plus mark here.
Yes, yes, I can.
Click on that and create new section and use it.
Okay.
You can do that also.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Do we need a local host for that?
You can give a name so that you can have that experience. It will take a proxy setting, nothing much to add on.
Okay, actually we tried it, but it was not allowing us to do.
So that's a tough call from here. I am not able to understand what is to be done, because if you are installing the application, it will ask initially few of the patches to install, and it will be by default added to it. It will take a 2 minutes, something like that, and then it will show the localhost link. It will also give you an option where it will have something like this, where you can use the password. A proxy setting will be given like this with the port number, root, and it will ask you to enter the password. So you can use any password with the number or name, whatever you want to use, and it will work.
Okay, I'll try it again, but I just don't want to waste the time. But I tried that, but it was not helping. So
You can try maybe later. First, you can concentrate here.
Okay.
So this is how it will look like. Okay, and if I have to create like database, give a name, demo DB. Can you see the database is created here, demo DB? There's a green tick mark. All of you are able to see?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Thank you for confirming.
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah.
So there were some technical issues from, I think maybe from your side or my side, don't know. But I was able to hear two sounds, two different session sounds at the same time.
Two different sessions.
Yeah, at the same time. So I just left the meeting and I just rejoined. So I don't know what happened in those time. Like, what did you taught? So
what time you left? How will I know? Can you tell me?
actually, I was with computer, but then I was able to hear two sounds. So it was like hodgepodge and lots of noise. So I just left that meeting, and I was trying to get in again, which I've like joined just now with the phone. So right now it's fine. The audio is fine. I don't know what happened. For like half an hour, I was able to hear two sounds. Like
half an
people were
hour.
discussing. Yeah, like half an hour. I was able to hear two different sounds from two sessions.
When it is one session going on in COPD, the two sessions can't happen, then something
I
is
don't know,
wrong.
but I was able to hear two different session sounds, and it was lots of noise there.
Yeah.
So I
Okay.
just
So
don't know
no need
like
to worry on that,
what it
Manish.
is. Half an hour.
No
I
need
was
to
I
worry.
just missed the half an hour completely.
No worries. This recording will be there in your library. Okay, by today
But sir,
evening.
I don't get any recording. I have
You
also
will know.
like.
We will not receive separately. You will have it in your student portal library section.
So I'm not getting it. Where it is, sir?
Not getting it will be uploaded. Then only you can get, right.
So when it will be uploaded? Like.
It will be uploaded today evening.
Okay. But I was not able to get the previous sessions also,
No,
which
there
I
are
have
some
like
issues
missed
happening
due to
with
some
technical
reasons.
pictures over there, which is
Okay.
communicated to all the students, I believe. Okay, so you can have that.
Sorry to interrupt in between. So if you are not finding all the recent links in the library, go to YouTube channel business space analyst space community and dash COEPD. So there they will upload immediately. Like today's session will be uploaded by Monday. So you can go to
Please
it.
repeat it slowly so that we can
Please
get it.
repeat it slowly.
Okay, it is business space analyst space community.
Business space analyst.
Yeah, space community.
Right.
Space dash space COEPD.
Business space. Can you please repeat once again?
Business space. 1 minute. Let me put you in this notepad
Yeah,
that you are
that
able
would be
to
better.
see it.
You are telling in this YouTube, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Business space.
Analyst. No. Analyst community. Space dash space COEPD. Yeah.
There is a space in between, guys. Don't club this word. There's a space also after Y and after dash between C.
Now we can continue.
I had one.
The YouTube links are not yet played, madam. I have raised the request for YouTube access.
Guys, can we give some time here? Let us finish this content and then maybe look into that aspect. That will be great, I believe.
Sure.
Okay, sir.
So once you create the database over here, this is how it will look like. I want you all to practice using this application. Once you download, it will be great fun for you. Okay, and parallelly, in the same, if you click on home link and come next to the shark, there's one more image for schema. Can you see the connectivity here? Click on this. You will have a call like Sakila here. This is default. And
Can we click on save or don't save?
are you able to see the schema here?
Don't save.
Yeah, I see don't save on.
Yeah.
Are you able to see? I can't maximize it. This is the max now. But the connectivities or the ER diagram, whatever you call, will reflect here. So this is for a consumer data, or it could be any other aspect which you want to understand or relate. This particular application has this functionality also. So if you click on any of the sections, let's say I'm clicking any of this one, it will give me a window where I can edit in this aspect, country ID, country name, whatever has been predefined using primary key, null, unique queued, and other aspects which is there. You can click on that and it will reflect parallelly here. Unlike your SQL, which takes a lot of time and lot of, I'm not sure how many patches or extension are required to download over there. This workbench gives you that accessibility entire thing and have max to max within 3 to 4 minutes of download. So you can do multiple aspects of work here or in practice also. Are you able to understand now?
I mean, how did you get this kind of things? Can you please repeat? Because usually in SQL, Oracle DB, which we use, we can able to view it in an Excel format of data.
Correct.
But here it is not in Excel format, right?
No.
And
We don't, I mean, see, like I told earlier, even in my own experience, I have never gone that deep into it because it was never required for me, rather asked to me to look into it. But what happens when you work on this aspect, this is basically towards two domain which I know is retail and finance. So when you are trying to work on that, that is in system. When you open a formatting system or template, it will be already in that tabular format. You will have a serial number, customer name, account number, and so on, isn't it?
Yes.
We maintain that in Excel and then put in system? No. You have it in system. May that be in Finacle, may that be in Lotus application or whatever you call it, it will have to reflect, and you have the leverage over there to input the or give the inputs over there. Isn't it? For us, it is only to see whether it is in the right tabular format or not. Any deviation, any mistake, database team will work on it, giving the commands. I mean, when you give the request that it is not in the right format, this is how the client want it to look like, and then you can make corrections.
Oh.
Priyadashini, can you please stop your camera? Okay, so this is how it will look like. How many of you are able to download this now?
No, Ravi, I tried. I don't know. It is not happening in my system.
No worries.
But Ravi, this one, like, can you please show one more time? How did you get this format of data?
You have left hand side. Can you see the home button?
Yes.
Here you have a database with a sharp fin.
Yes.
Okay. This is where you can create the connections, multiple connections. Below it, you have a schema diagram here. Can you see the three dots, three boxes? Click on that. You have here Shakila full. This is already created there. Click on this twice. Don't save, like you said, and it will open the file. Now this is predefined. Okay. What happens here if I want to make corrections or modifications as per my requirement? May that be for domain of banking or for domains of retail. Click on this section. I'm unable to maximize it, so I'm sorry. Click on this like country or whatever. It will give you a window where you can make corrections or name. Here the table name is country. Let me give it like COEPD. Okay. If you see schema is already for schema and all, I will not do any touching, modifications here. And that is here how it is. Indexes I will leave as it is. No primary key, nothing defined. If you see bottom, you have multiple options where you can rework. Partitions, options not required, inserts not needed, and privileges as it is. And I will have to save this. Click on this and scroll it down. So can you see the name is changed here to COEPD?
Yes.
Same way it's DBY here, address something. So you can change names here and give the attribute whichever you want to have it included. And it will work as per your requirement, how you want it.
Sir, I had one small issue here.
Yeah.
Sir, actually, I'm not from this batch. I'm basically from some earlier batch. I was not able to attend. So I have not yet received this link. Have you just send it to people from this batch only?
No, it will go for everybody, not only for this batch or previous batch. It will go for
And it would be
each and
available on my
everybody.
official mail ID, right?
You will receive an email communication. Parallelly, you can have a same thing cross-check in your student portal login. On top, it will reflect there is a SQL session happening on this day, on this timing. To join in Zoom meeting, please use this user ID and password.
Right. Okay. So this link would be available in our student domain
Student
also.
portal always.
Student portal,
Yes.
right.
And parallelly, if you would have saved your student coordinator name in your contact book in your mobile, they will also place this kind of a notification in WhatsApp. What do you call that? Flash messages and all.
Okay.
So this is what is all about SQL Workbench.
Sir, every week some sessions I need to join. So every time I call the coordinator and they will only send
1 minute.
to join automatically.
1 minute. So with this, your understanding what is the SQL, Workbench, how it can help you understand the things and all, how you can practice for creating or whatever is there, or for view.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So let me close this. Yeah. So with this, we'll end up the class here, and request you all to please log into your SQL Workbench session, download, login, and please do practice so that you are able to understand it.
So,
Ravi.
if this session can we leave?
Yeah, those who are done, if you have some work, we are done with it. You can leave if you are and have some other work.
Thank you, Ravi.
Thank you all for participation.
Ravi.
Yeah.
Can you show us how to retrieve our database?
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just one question. Instead of downloading this SQL Workbench or similar tools, can we directly work on any other online platform like W3 Schools or otherwise?
W3 Schools is a platform where they will give you kind of example on the commands. But they will not they have a small section over there where you can drop the some command and see if it's running or not.
Yeah.
Max to max that only. Maybe you can take assistance of that particular site and try to work in this workbench. Because everybody cannot install the entire foolproof or full stack of SQL version, right? That requires a lot of patches and a lot of servers and connectivity and proxy setting. That much even I am not aware how to do. In order to counter that, I was able to find this workbench, which is giving me the same option. I'm able to serve my purpose also without much of the hotspot.
Yeah. Got it. Okay. Thank you. We can leave, right?
Yes.
Thank you.
So please tell in the student portal where we can join the link automatically. Can you please tell that one? Because
Sorry?
every week I'm